Hello and welcome everybody to beautiful Rezidence Kurzeme. Today we are presenting round 3 coverage of MPO lead card on the 26th of May. And we want to thank our sponsors Latitude 64, Zuka, MageBit, Abavas Vīna Darītava and many more that helped this event happen. Today we're playing blue layout and we have a nice and sunny weather. And today, together with you, we have Elviss Brauns
and Mārtiņš Bērtulis.
Exactly.
And here you can see your lead card for this round. So we have 2 Estonians leading and 3 Latvians catching up. At the first place, after 2 rounds, we have Lauri Luts with -10. On the second, Kaido Mikk with -9. Then on the third, we have split between Renārs Strazdiņš and Valters Čuhnovs with -7. And fifth right now, Intars Jansons with -4.
Yes, a very interesting final round for us today. And we can see the hole number 1. It's the easiest hole, 2.6 throws per this basket. Almost half of the field birdied this hole. And let's see how does our leaders do. All right, these players are getting ready, deciding who's gonna enter the scores in disc golf metrics, and now we're off.
So the first one is Lauri Luts. He's throwing a regular backhand shot, maybe a bit too low, so still a putt to do for him.
Yes, that's gonna be definitely a challenging putt, around 10 meters before the basket. The next one is Mikk. Kaido Mikk is up, also a bit low. Probably the wind is playing with the discs and he lands somewhere similar where Lauri landed.
As third one, we can see Valters Čuhnovs is lining up also his backhand shot. So let's see how he does. Okay, the height seems better and it seems that it's a bit of an Anheuser shot at the beginning and he's next to the basket.
Perfect landing for Valters. Right inside the bullseye, so it's gonna be super easy birdie for him, and that's how you want to start the round. All right, up next we have Renārs Strazdiņš. Looks like he's going with the mid-range, reading his wind. Also, I would say a bit high, definitely a lot higher than the previous guys, and he's a bit long too. So it's gonna be a challenging comeback putt for him.
Yeah, and as the fifth, Intars Jansons, as most of the disc golf people know it as Zinch. He's throwing also a backhand, also it seems a bit high, but quite less skip, because it's a slower disc than Renārs.
Alright, and we have Kaido approaching, trying to hit his putt, but no, it hits the basket, but it doesn't go in. So, unfortunate for him, he doesn't start with the birdie.
A bit tricky putt for Renārs because the branch is quite low and he's a bit low also on his putt.
And another metal from him. Lauri Luts, what he can show us. Oh, a bit stressful beginning for the guys. Nobody can make their putts, and also Intars misses his shot.
Yeah, so it seems that it will be 4 pars and the only one birdie for Valters Čuhnovs. So he seems that he will putt last one. So he's the closest to the basket, and yeah, we can see his disc. That's the blue one, and it's mainly a tap-in. It's a tap-in also for Intars for his par, missing the birdie putt, and yeah, Valters in for the birdie.
Yeah, probably stress playing along for these guys and not helping them to add up to the statistics of the hole. But let's move on. Hole number 2, 80 meters, par 3. A slight uphill, and then there's a very narrow gap that you have to make to get for the birdie. So it's going to be a challenge for these guys, and we'll see how they do. Yeah, like also, here you can see.
It's also one of the easiest baskets on the course and in this round. So Valters having the birdie is throwing first one. It's a nice forehand shot from him. And it's once again into the circle 1. So he will have a chance to keep up the birdie streak.
Yes, very good throw by Valters. And now Lauri. Lauri also going with the forehand. Hits the gap a bit long, but still I think he's inside the circle.
Yeah, Kaido Mikk has the next one. It's a bit tighter. Yeah, and it's too tight at the end also. It hits the branches and the branches hit the disc down. Quite a challenging putt.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for Kaido to get through, and also for Renārs. He also catches those high branches and which knocks down his disc.
And,
this is
even tighter for Intars.
All right, looks like he's holding his shoulder. Might have picked up some injury from the first 2 rounds, but he's still in the lead card, so good for him.
Yeah, so branch is also disturbing Kaido to put it out in the next to the basket. The same with the Intars, so it seems that quite challenging putt still left for him. And Renārs is closer than we thought. But
yeah, you saw how challenging it was for Intars and Kaido to get outside of that pine tree, but yeah, now they have to even putt for the par. So good par for Intars.
And still quite challenging for Kaido. Yeah, and it's a band.
Lauri.
Oh, it's a Lauri,
yeah,
sorry, yes.
Yeah, Lauri was putting for birdie and almost made it, but unfortunately not.
Yeah,
but Valters.
That's not disturbing Valters. He's getting a second birdie already. So very good start for Valters. So,
absolutely perfect start. Gaining a throw from each player in both of the first baskets. It's the way you want to start the round, confident and closing up the lead.
Yeah, so we're moving up to the basket number 3. That is once again slightly uphill. It's 90 meters far from the tee. It's one of the most difficult baskets in the course. It has only 10% of the birdie. So it's quite a luxury to get a birdie here. As you can see, and also the basket is on the quite steep hill. So you need to be very precise and hopefully the disc is not rolling after landing.
Yeah, so Valters is following up after his 2 birdies. Looks like he's doing a little flex shot, trying to make the gap, but unfortunately he hits the trees in front of the basket. So he's gonna have a challenging putt from there.
Let's see what Lauri can do here, and it seems that it's tracking the same position as Valters ended up.
A bit overstable. Didn't get the flex that he wanted and couldn't make the gap. Kaido is going a bit wider, so he probably is in a better position to approach his birdie.
Yeah, and Renārs doing the same, I would say, mistake. Oh no, it's went through, and it's just below the basket, and it's like 5-6 meters, but the basket is uphill, so the situation is quite
very
good.
lucky 3 hit. Intars looks like he's running out of power, very overstable, even hits the OB, unfortunately, and the OB is actually pretty hard to hit, so unlucky for him. And he still has to make over these trees. Oh, that's a nice landing.
Yeah, very risky landing also, so, but no rollout, so he's next to the basket now. So
good recovery. Yeah.
Valters trying to get on the hill so he can get the par. Kaido,
almost no option for Valters. Very, very, very low gap and almost impossible to make it inside the basket. And you can see Lauri is doing the same as well, just to get close to the basket and not mess this hole up.
Yeah, and Renārs with the best drive from the whole group, the putting for the birdie, and he makes it. So the only birdie in this group, and all the others. It's Valters and Lauri and Kaido will get the par, and Intars unfortunately gets a bogey because of the OB. Yeah,
so heading up to hole number 4. It's a quite tricky hole, very narrow at the front, a little opening in the middle. But as you can see, the players average 4.4 throws on this hole. Is almost the 4th difficult hole of this course and layout, 139 meters, and the perfect spot for landing would be right here in the opening. If you can have a good forehand, you land somewhere in the beginning of the opening and then try to hit your approach shot in this narrow gap as well. So let's see how our lead card does this hole in the final round.
Yeah, we can see the Renārs after birdie in last hole is starting the first one, and he tries the forehand, but it's too much Anheuser and too high, so he hits one of the first trees on the right side. It seems that Valters is doing the same, so he's also throwing the forehand, slightly Anheuser.
Looks like he had a nice flex, but it got bit overturned and hit some trees on the left side, so he didn't quite get the shot that he wanted.
Yeah, Lauri also going with the forehand, also a bit tight on the inside, but let's see where it landed.
Okay, Kaido also with the forehand, kind of a nice flex line, and hits the tree in front of you. All right.
Yeah, let's see what how Intars will be able to recover after his bogey in the last hole. Wow, it's also really high, but it's getting through, so it's not the best spot, but also not the worst, so it's I think quite nice.
Yeah, so, I guess it looked pretty tricky outside of his hand that it was a bit high and would catch the branches, but luckily he got outside in that opening. You see how tight it is if where Renārs landed is quite in the bushes and inside the trees, so it's almost very narrow gaps to get outside in that opening.
Yeah, and really nice second shot from the Lauri. So it's it's a roll. It's also okay. It seems that he's avoided from not that close to the trees, and we can see already the third shot of Renārs.
Oh, and Renārs is drawing his own lines here inside the trees, and unluckily hits the tree and even knocks it deeper inside the forest. But Kaido is doing good. A great shot from his first landing. Almost, I think he hit even the green there, so he's gonna putt for the birdie.
Yeah, and also Valters really nice control of Valters.
Yeah, okay, Renārs, good luck here. I don't see any lines, and I think that's what happens as well. Like he hits a branch and not get lucky.
And a bit too overstable disc, but it's a good tree, so it's still I would say around 10 meters for Intars. So he got his birdie chance.
And now Lauri from his roll away, bit of an awkward stance, trying to do a jump putt, but I don't think he managed the one he wanted. So he's gonna have a challenging putt from there.
Yeah, and we can really see why it's one of the most difficult baskets on the course, right? So it's
yeah, especially if you hit the first trees in the beginning of the hole, it's very hard to get outside of that deep forest. So it's a challenge, especially also for the best ones. And we can see that the guys are not doing good with their putts as well, missing their putts for birdies. But now Kaido, he shows how it's done. 3 great shots and the birdies in his pocket.
Yeah, and right now Lauri, I think, trying to get his bogey, and yes, he does it. So that's a quite good comeback from the last missed putt. So I think Valters putting for the par.
Ooh.
And
shout out to chain out guys. Unfortunate for Valters, he doesn't make his par putt and he has to putt for bogey now. Also Renārs getting through his own lines through the forest gets a double bogey, and luckily for Intars he gets a par.
So in the dice, right, we have a small straight, so we have 4 different scores on our leaderboard in this basket. So then moving to the next one, it's a really great view from uphill, and then you're going downhill. It's basket number 5. It's 103 meters, but it plays, I think, closer because it's you need to throw a bit downhill.
All right, Kaido is doing his drive. A bit high, catches the branches, doesn't really fade and go straight inside the forest. Probably not the landing that he was looking for, but it's good that it's all right by the basket at the same level. Oh, I think unlucky for Intars. He catches the branch of the birch tree and he doesn't make it over the gap.
Yeah, so he will go to the drop zone, and he's OB, so he will throw his third shot from the drop zone. So it's Valters is throwing nice shot, and the branches are redirecting him just on the closer to the basket.
All right, what can Lauri show us? Lauri also a bit wide. I think they have problem reading the wind, and the wind is kind of pulling the discs to the right, so they kind of catching that tree, which you normally don't do here on this hole.
Yeah, we are also able to see, let's say, the local guy's advantages, right? So Walter says the tree is redirecting him to the basket. For Lauri, it's redirecting him down. So here you can see. All right,
and we have the local guy follow flights, and like as you can see, Walter's on the right side of the basket and Renārs on the left side, so they're putting for their birdies. They almost got the jump done here. And it's gonna be a small walk downhill, and Inter's gonna go from the drop zone. I'd say a bit long for approach here. He's gonna have a tricky downhill putt from there to save his bogey.
Okay, so Lauri's disc ended up staying into the tree. So he's shooting under the tree. So it's a quite good approach. So he will get his par. Yeah, you can see it's in the height of the head. So Kaido with one more step putt right now. This time it's not successful, so he will also need to settle for 3. And
oh yeah, and this was the challenging putt as I was mentioning, a downhill comeback putt for bogey for Intars. Really a bad approach. But Renārs, wow, unfortunate miss for a birdie. Walters is showing how it's done, getting his birdie, but sadly for Renārs, he has to settle with a par.
Yeah, and Intars with finishing with a double bogey because of the out of bounds in the first shot. Yeah, it really seems that something is disturbing Intars shot because the accuracy is not there.
Yeah, it's definitely not the start that you want for the final card. He was having his hopes up to enter in the top 3, but unfortunately the first 5 holes is kind of playing around. So the hole number 6, par 4, 165 meters. It plays 4.1 throws per basket. Only 80% get the birdies here. There's a narrow gap in the front that they have to make. If you don't make that one, it's a challenging one to get back to par. So let's see how the guys do.
Yeah, and we can quite nice shot. Not quite, but really nice shot from the Walters. He's just in the middle of the field, so it should be quite an easy upshot for him to get one more birdie.
Yes, that definitely is the throw that you're looking for. Landing outside in the field. Even this one is nice because the Mando tree on the left side is not in your way. So 2 good shots from this card.
Yeah, and a really good flip up also from Lauri, and hopefully he's not distracted by that bush. So
yeah, it got turned over a bit too much, and it got to the right side by the bush. If the bush is not in the way, he should be fine, but it's definitely not where he wanted to land. Renārs having a little bit of trouble, also a bit short, but he's still on the fairway, so good shot for him.
And Intars is almost in the same place, quite higher shot, but the same result. So I think all of the players are still able to get the birdie.
Well, for Renārs, it looks like it's a bit challenging. Have to do the forehand and hyzer. Catches a little bit of branches there, so I don't think he's up for a birdie anymore.
Really big hyzer, backhand hyzer for Intars, and yeah, he's few meters
right inside
from
the circle.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, a good approach. Finally waking up and being satisfied with his throw finally.
Really high from the Kaido, so let's see if he will be able to reach the basket. Yeah, and it's too high and it's too short.
And you can even hear the wind is blowing here, so the wind drags the disc upside and it's difficult. But a nice ball hit for Lauri, a great approach that he was definitely looking for.
Yeah, and as we already thought that Valter's quite easy upshot for him. So
and as you can see, yeah, for Renārs, the Anheuser forehand didn't work for him. And also the approach is kind of hanging too wide to the left. So he's going to be a challenging putt for par. So here's Renārs approaching, trying to hit his par. Oh, and unlucky. He hits the band, but it doesn't go in, so have to settle for a bogey.
Yeah, quite uphill, and that's what disturbed Valters to get a birdie here. And that's good that this didn't travel that long, and he's still quite next to the basket, so he's able to get his par. Yeah, easy putt for the birdie for Intars. And Renārs finishing with unfortunate little bogey in this one. Kaido finishing up his par, and also Lauri, I think he was the closest one to the basket, yeah, so he's finishing with a tap-in birdie. So that's the first birdie of the round for Lauri, so he gets back to the even.
And also for Intars, also a great birdie. But now up to hole 7, 78 meters, par 3. An uphill, a more challenging uphill basket here. You can approach the basket from both sides, either with a forehand from the left side or a backhand from the right side. So we'll see which is the preferred throwing technique from our players.
Yeah, so Lauri with the birdie in the last hole goes the first one, maybe a bit too low. So yeah, it's quite short. You can see that could be quite. The meters can trick you with the 78 meters, but as it's quite still uphill, it plays much more. We can see forehand.
Yeah, and you
Intars.
can see that Lauri was throwing backhand, but Intars is going forehand. Intars goes long, but Lauri ended up in that tree in the middle. Oh, and this is definitely a really unfortunate throw. Gets overturned, cut roll for Kaido. So not the throw that you're expecting here in this hole.
Yeah, it looked a bit more like a roller, but not sure if he wanted to. So it's good shot from Valters. It needs to hyzer back, and it does. So I think it's in around 10 meters.
Yeah, a bit high and long from the basket, but definitely he can make the shot. Renārs throwing a backhand a bit wide, hits the trees on the right side, so it's going to be a challenging approach from that side.
Let's see what Kaido does. So yeah, good approach. He's next to the basket for the par, and it ended up quite open for Renārs, and he has an opportunity to jump at and to try to have a birdie. Unlucky this time, but easy par.
And you can see Lauri was actually ended up outside the tree, and he makes even his putt for birdie. So this is the most beautiful birdie so far from this card, right below the branches, around 8 meters, I would say. So good comeback for Lauri. 2 birdies in a row, extending his lead.
Yeah, we can see how far in the forest was Intars, so we didn't see him when he throwed it out. So he will also need to settle for the par.
Looks right like Valters is trying to hit his birdie, and he does. Wow, a very nice, I would say 10-meter putt for a birdie. Definitely happy with that one.
Yeah, and Valters right now is, and I would say, playing the best from all of the lead cards. So he's throwing a good shots and also putting good. So he's -3 right now in the round. Then Kaido Mikk and Lauri Luts on -1 in this round.
And we have a pretty tight battle for top 3. Only one stroke ahead from Lauri.
And the next one is the basket number 8, 64 meters, and it's like a really big forehand needed. It's a very sharp angle where you need to put it in, and it's getting 32% of the field is getting a birdie in it.
Yeah, so I think everybody is gonna throw a forehand. No lefties here, so all forehands, high hyzers, trying to hit the gap and land in the green.
Wow, and this is really high, and it's really good.
And it seems like no problem so far from Valters and Lauri.
And it's even better for Intars. So it's
yeah, that's the way you can make it in this basket.
Yeah,
A bit
too wide.
wider. Yeah, a bit wider. Fortunately, doesn't catch too much branch and it still lands inside the circle.
And also quite nice line from Renārs. And wow.
Wow, this is
that's
perfect.
a nice run.
Yeah, that's why we're looking at the replay. Almost hit an ace here. How unfortunate, but lands right under the basket. So perfect roll from Renārs. Very happy for him. An easy birdie.
Yeah, so Kaido Mikk throws the first one and one more band for him.
All right, so this is gonna cost a lot. Yeah.
So Lauri getting a third birdie in a row already.
A turkey for Lauri, and now Valters also keeping up with Lauri. Now there are -11 in total, and Lauri -12. Intars also getting his birdie, his second birdie of the round, and of course Renārs taking an easy birdie with that great drive from the tee pad. Almost a star frame. Unfortunately for Kaido, he couldn't manage.
Yeah, basket number 9. It's also quite long par 4, 158 meters. We can see the Mando on the right side, and all the left side is an OB. So you need to be very careful with both of the shots to not go OB on the left. And here you can see in the basket, it's also on the right side. So only 80% of the birdies, and it's the second hardest basket.
So Lauri is throwing his drive. He's using a forehand to land outside of that forest. A bit an unfortunate roll away. Lands right behind the pine tree, so we'll see how the approach goes afterwards. Valters also using his forehand skills. Oh, he's playing with an OB a little bit, and how unfortunate this doesn't come out, and he has to settle for an OB.
Yeah, let's see how Intars does it. So it's also quite wide, but it's hyzer angle, so it gets up and it's uphill. So there should be a chance for him to get a birdie from there also. There's Renārs throwing it a bit more hyzer and a bit more straight.
Yeah, so I'd say playing a lot more safer than the other guys, but landing quite nice outside the forest.
It's also quite good shot for the Kaido. Let's see if they will be able to have the good approach and be able to putt for the birdie. So it's quite far for Valters. So he needs to get one more.
It went outside, and unfortunately it does go outside once again. So very unfortunate run for Valters on hole 9. Intars showing great approach skills, but it's just a bit too long. But the kick is good. The kick was good. Saves him inside the circle.
Yeah, and wow, that's a shank. I think it's a quite too big unhyzer, too much unhyzer, and it went straight OB on the left side.
Yeah, definitely not what Kaido was looking for, and he has to settle with an OB. Renārs also not getting the approach he was looking for, hitting that birch tree, just throwing too high, and the wind just blows it inside the tree.
Yeah, and quite an awkward stance also from Lauri because of the bush, not in the tree in the front of him. So, and Valters throwing already his 5th shot because of the 2 OBs, and yeah, that's also kind of short, so it will be a tricky putt for him.
Yeah, Valters just wants to get over with this hole and start up with the next one and forget about this, because really unfortunate after a great start of the round. He's looking to settle for a double bogey, but it's still not quite promised for him. So let's see how he does.
Yeah.
Yes, well, A very good putt, but still a double bogey. But yeah, that's the best he could do so far with 2 OBs.
Lauri putting for the birdie, and it's not in, so he will need to settle for the par, and it's one more birdie chance from Intars. Yep,
Let's
and
go.
he does it.
Intars is finally finding his rhythm. 3 birdies in the last 4 holes, so looks like he's doing better if he throws a forehand from the tee pad. So hopefully he keeps it up and maybe catches up with the top guys. Very unfortunate
mistake from Kaido, and he needs to settle also with a double bogey.
Oh wow, yeah, definitely not the score you were looking for in this hole. Losing 2 strokes to the leader. Lauri currently minus 12 for the round.
Yeah, and the next one, basket number 10, 82 meters, and as we have told already a lot of times, it's uphill once again. So it's 82 meters, but it plays quite longer, so you need let's say 100-110 meter power for sure. And
I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna go with forehand here. They have to kind of make this gap in the front and then be pretty high to land over this ditch, and that's what Inter does. He has an obstacle in his way, but he has a putt for the birdie.
Yeah, really nice shot from the Inters. Seems that Lauri should be a bit closer. There was a bit more hyzer into his shot. Let's see how Renārs does it. But the last basket with those 2 double bogeys is giving a bit more space for Lauri to breathe right now. Wow.
Oh, that hurts. Yeah, but it's still a great shot, man. I'm very happy for Renārs. He almost aces the second basket. He did it on hole 8, and now he does it on hole 10. Hits the metal, the top of the basket. Really, the best one you can look for.
It's a bit too straight, it seems, from Valters, but he's also have a, let's say, a longer look for the birdie. Yeah, and a really tight shot for Kaido. Wow.
Yeah, some emotions running through his head from the previous double bogey and the missed putts, and he doesn't make his drive here as well, so has to go the difficult route through the bushes and through the trees.
Yeah, so it's one more bogey for him. So Valters also giving it a bit of a run, but he will need to settle for the par. The same for Intars. Wow, Lauri throwing to make a quite strong spin putt, also doesn't make it, and Renārs is having the only birdie in this card.
Yeah, Renārs showing how it's done. This golf is easy. If you make the drive, it's easy. You just make the birdie, right? But yeah, jokes aside, still the guys are fighting quite well for the top 3. We have 3 pars, 1 birdie, and 1 bogey.
So heading into the basket number 11. So this one is downhill, 103 meters. Quite open the right side. On the left side we have a tennis court that is OB, so you can see that the fence is the border, and the basket is just when the fence ends. So most probably
it's quite tricky. Yeah, it's quite tricky. It plays harder than it looks, and with the wind blowing, it actually can play some tricks with your discs. Renārs throwing his drive a bit low. You can see that he's not happy with his throw.
And Intars does it too high.
Yes, and Intars does it too high, and he lands OB, so he's gonna go from the drop zone.
Well, let's see if Lauri will be able to make the adjustments. It's wider, and it seems, yeah, the disc is holding the straight line, and it's not hyzering that fast. So he hit the fence, and he's still maybe circle 2. Or a bit more longer than that, but at least
okay, let's see what Valters does here. Oh, a nice straight throw. Hopefully it fades, but it's going straight and straight inside the pine tree. Yeah, a very straight disc, didn't really fade. like how he wanted, but I think that's the wind that kept it going so far.
It seems really nice for Kaido if that's hyzering back.
And it looks like it is.
A really nice shot. So Kaido is showing us how this basket should be played.
Renārs with a small approach, lands it in bullseye.
So Intars trying to secure his par. It's unsuccessful. So Lauri is also giving, let's say, a half bid.
Yeah, I'd say he rather plays safe than sorry in this hole, because there's a downhill putt and you don't want this disc to roll down.
And this is how close to the basket Kaido ended up, and he got, after 2 very unsuccessful baskets, he's getting a birdie back, so hopefully he will be back in the game.
Yeah, great comeback by Kaido. Intars has to settle with a bogey because of the OB. Valters takes a par. Lauri takes a par. And Renārs has a par as well. Let's move over.
Yeah, it's a basket number 12. It's once again par 4, 135 meters. It's just in the middle of the difficulty. It's the 8th or 7th most difficult basket. And as you can see, it's even split between the birdies, pars and bogeys.
Alright, Kaido is approaching his first shot. All he wants to do is just go around the corner as far as you can to have a straight shot for a approach.
And I think it was quite good result.
Yeah, I think it's a good shot. You don't want to land too much inside of those trees to not have everything in the front, but looks like these guys are doing pretty good.
Wow, that's a really high hyzer from Lauri, and it's a really good result.
Yeah, a lot better than the previous guys, definitely. Lauri has a better look for his approach.
And could be a bit tricky for Valters. Let's see, hopefully it doesn't fade that much.
Yeah, looks like even catch cam couldn't catch the disc where it landed. So we'll see with his second throw where he starts off of.
Maybe also a bit too wide for Intars. Oh no, it's nice. It goes through, and I think he's in good position. So seems that all of the guys are able to have a birdie.
Oh, a bit tricky approach for Renārs. Had to miss the birch tree in front of him, and he lands inside the green. So not the most comfortable putt there, but I think he should be able to make it.
And that's too short for Kaido. So it's quite long putt for him. Lauri is parking just near to the basket, so it will be a tap-in birdie for him.
Yeah, a textbook approach from Lauri, right inside bullseye. Also a textbook approach from Intars, also inside bullseye. So it's a game of approaches here.
Yeah, and that's an eagle opportunity, I think, for Valters. If he wasn't OB with the first shot, it was really far from him.
Oh, a nice try from Kaido. Oh, please sit down. Yes, didn't get as worse as it could, but a great approach, a great try to make his birdie putt.
Wow.
Oh, the puts are not on his side today. Definitely Kaido is not happy with his putts. Unfortunately, playing mind games. Intars takes his birdie. Valters takes his birdie.
Yeah, so it was an eagle chance, let's say. Valters was quite in a quite good spot. It's like maybe 30 meters from the basket for the first shot. And yeah, and Kaido having a unfortunate bogey.
So heading off to hole number 13, 96 meters, plays an average of 2.9 throws. Is the 5th difficult course of the layout, and 22% birdie. So it's a basket is quite on a slope, but not as steep to have like big rollaways. you are playing a little bit with it, but we'll see how these guys do it.
Yeah, and Renārs is going the first one with a quite big backhand hyzer. Yeah, and it's a really good result.
Yeah, he lands inside the green. Lauri is following a different line here. He tries to go a flex shot straight to the basket. Lands on the bottom of the slope, and it's going to be a challenging putt for sure.
Valters throwing the next one, also going the Anheuser road in the middle. And the disc is not coming back as he would like to, so but still a putt.
Yeah, the challenge with the flex line is you want to keep the disc as high as you can just to land on the slope instead of on the bottom of the slope. But looks like everybody's kind of dealing with the wind issue here, and also Intars disc gets turned over, a little bit of cut roll, and he's definitely nothing for a birdie throw there.
Wow, and that's really high an Anheuser, so it hits one of the first trees and goes. But not that it doesn't didn't go that deep, so it's still an approach, and there will be still a possibility to save the par.
So Intars doing like a 20-meter jump putt. Unfortunate, doesn't make it. Kaido looks like he lands it safe, but definitely wanted to approach it.
A good opportunity for Valters, but a bit too low. So and then there's Lauri and Renārs that will most probably take the birdies. Lauri already doing it.
Yeah, and Renārs even a shorter putt, and as it should be, gets the birdie there.
Yeah, and you see how fast things can change within the 3, 4, or 5 baskets, right? So Valters was just behind the Lauri, and Kaido was they were battling for the first one. Right now the results are quite different already.
Yeah, hole number 14, a bit downhill, I'd say, inside 110 meters, par 3. Only 13 birdies here. You have the trees behind the basket, and you have to have quite a drive to make it inside the green. And Renārs is definitely one of those guys who have these big drives, but unfortunate right now he goes a bit wide to the right, so he's looking at circle 2.
So let's see what Lauri will be able to do here. Wow, it's also quite wide, but it's more hyzer.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's a really nice shot.
Definitely the drive that you're looking for. He's building his confidence. 2 birdies in the last 2 holes, so he's aiming for another one here.
Yeah, he's got the 4-stroke lead already from the second place where Valters is right now. And also Valters also quite good shot, so I think there is a possibility for him to have not the easiest putt, but still to make it.
Okay, and Inter's going with the backhand. Not the favorable backhand that he's been having today, but a very nice shot, I'd say. Landing 5 meters from the basket and looking for a birdie here.
And once again, a bit too wide also from Kaido, and once again in the Anheuser. So
yeah, Kaido hitting a bad streak here, not hitting his lines, definitely having some morals from the previous hole disturbing him, and that's how disc golf usually goes.
So we can see Valters is quite closer than we thought. Oh yeah, but he misses this shot, so he will need to settle up with the par.
Yeah, an unfortunate channel. That was a shot that you were looking for to catch up with Lauri, because Lauri is kind of getting away, already 5 strokes ahead of Valters, so he definitely needs to pick up his game. Only 5 baskets left.
Yeah, and easy birdie for Intars also. So we have 3 pars and 2 birdies in this hole. So let's go to the next one. The next one is hole number 15. It's an island hole, so it's 76 meters. The basket is a bit uphill, and you can see those logs. Those are marking the OB line. So you need to be very precise in this basket.
Especially if there's a lot of wind, it's tricky to get inside the bunker. And let's see how Lauri does it. Oh, it looks like unfortunate for him. He doesn't make it inside the island, and he gets a hazard.
Wow, that's really wide from Intars, but he knows his discs and lines, and he's inside the hazard area. Outside the hazard area, inside the circle. And Renārs throwing, and yep, also with a skip. He's next to the Intars basket. Let's see how Valters does it.
Valters using a much straighter line, trying to hit an ace here. Going a bit long, but lands inside the circle. It's going to be a challenging putt, a little bit downhill putt for him.
Yeah, and it's, once again, it seems that it's the same problem that's happening with Kaido all the time. He's a bit too wide, and the disc is in Anheuser or straight.
Yeah, got overturned, and he's looking to save a par from outside circle. And he does it. All right, yes, Kaido with a nice outside circle putt. Saves his par. And probably this putt is going to build back the confidence about his putting game. Nothing much to lose anymore, so you have to go all in.
Hopefully we have 5 baskets still left, so everything could be possible. And
as I said, a very challenging putt from Valters, downhill. And now a comeback putt to save the par. Not going to be easy, but Valters does it. Good. Good save there.
That's a really good comeback from him. Then a good shot also from Renārs to make a birdie. He's pumped up. He got an even result with the Valters. So they're tied in the second place with -10 right now. So Intars also putting it in. So he's -6 in total and -2 on the round. So after a bad start, Intars is able to get back, and also a bogey for Lauri. It's the only bogey in this basket.
For this card. Okay, the second most difficult hole number 16, 210 meters, par 4. A lot of quite bushes that you have to throw over with your drive. Land somewhere outside here in this open area, and then do like a pretty strong forehand approach to hit the circle. 4.6 throws average per this hole. So Intars is the one to start. Looks like a great drive, nice steady line, and he's outside there in the field. So a really good drive from Intars. Renārs, a very powerful drive, a bit higher than Intars one, and also landing outside and a much further than Intars. So he's gonna have an easier approach. So what Valters does here? Valters is going over and lands in the tall grass, but there's no OB, so he should be safe. Kaido Mikk.
Going with the grace.
And fortunate for him, he lands on the fairway, so he doesn't have any obstacles for his approach shot.
And Lauri going almost the same way as Intars does, so it's yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so I would say 4 great drives and 1 decent drive from Kaido. Let's see how he does his approach. Using his backhand, trying to do like a flex line, but unfortunately he goes OB. Hit the query on the right side, and just for the player safety, there's an OB line to not have to throw back up.
And it's a bit too short for from Inter. So as you said, so for the second shot you need to have a really powerful forehand to be able to reach it. So also a bit short for Valters, but I think he should be somewhere near to the circle's edge.
So at Renārs had the best drive and a nice forehand, and after pumping himself up after hole 15, he's still on the roll.
Yeah, looking into the overall standings, so it's four-stroke lead right now for Lauri, for Renārs and Valters. So, and we have 4 baskets left, so this and 3 more.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite challenging. Lauri will have to make like a big error to kind of lose his lead currently, but still the game is on and everything's possible. So Valters trying for a birdie here. And unfortunate, yeah, there is a hard line to hit, almost the same as for Intars, and you can see there's no line to hit the basket. He just wants to get close and take his par.
Yeah, and unfortunate putt streak is still going on for Kaido, so he can't get out of it, it seems. And one more very unfortunate putt, and it seems that it will be now that will not even be a double bogey. It seems that it will be a triple bogey for him. And, yeah, the nerves are getting in. Lauri is starting to miss, as you said, so there's a possibility for other guys to try to catch him.
Absolutely, yeah. As you can see, Kaido is having struggles to getting back from his bad putting. Definitely a round to forget. But Renārs is keeping the hype real, and he has made already 4 birdies in his last 5 holes. So a good charge from Renārs, a late charge from Renārs, getting close to top 1 spot.
Okay, it seems that there was some miscalculation for me, and then Kaido gets double bogey in this basket, but heading up to the basket number 17. It's 82 meters, it's over the quarry, and the basket is once again into the hill, so you need to land it quite safely so you don't have any rolls. So let's see how the players plays it. So
I'd say this is a pretty easy hole, yeah. Renārs going backhand over the quarry with a bit stable disc, tries to land inside the circle, but he lands a bit short, I'd say. It's a challenging putt from there.
It's a good drive, at least seems good right now from the Intars, and if that's not rolling, that is rolling, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately catches the edge of the disc and rolls away from the basket. An uphill putt for Intars. I think he can make it. Let's see what he does. A straight shot.
That's a straight and a safe shot from Lauri. And Valters, next one. It's very important for him to get this, as Renārs is quite close to the basket to keep the fight for the second place alive. So it's quite good, I think. It's a putt. It's a putt for the birdie for sure. And Kaido, after once again very unfortunate little putting error, is short. So that could be tricky. It will be tricky for him to get a birdie from there.
Right, Intars trying for his birdie here, uphill putt. Yeah, but fades a bit early and doesn't hit the chains even. Oh, a small roll away, but not an unfortunate one. Valters trying his try for the birdie. No, it looks like he doesn't even try. There must have been a tree in front of him. Let's see what Renārs does. This was a very important putt for him to try to keep up with Lauri. He really needed this birdie, as Lauri takes the birdie for this hole and extends the lead again back to four throws.
Yeah, and we have quite split leaderboard already. Lauri Luts with -15. The second one, Renārs Strazdiņš -11. so 4 strokes back. Then Valters Čuhnovs -9, so it's 2 strokes back from him. And then we have Intars and Kaido, the 4th and 5th position right now. So we have 2 baskets left, the basket number 18 and then the last one, the 19. So here we're going into the basket number 18. It's 93 meters, a bit downhill, quite open. All the left side and over the basket is OB. So I would think that all of the guys will go on backhand hyzer here.
Yeah, it plays quite easy, and they should all be going backhands here. You can see Lauri is using a straight backhand to get to the basket, and looks like he has his confidence back and he hits the circle's edge.
Yeah, he knows the scores. He doesn't need to run, so he's in the lead. He just needs to maintain it. Everyone else needs to catch him.
Yeah, so the pressure is on Renārs and Valters, and Renārs does a pretty good job on handling this pressure. Lands inside, let's say, 4 meters from the basket, so should be an easy putt for the birdie here.
Yeah, and Intars, after a really slow and bad start, having a quite good round at the end, but it's a bit too much hyzer and a bit too low. And
yeah, quite unstable with his backhands today. Looks like there must have been maybe like a small injury or something to his shoulder, but he's really keeping up with the guys and showing good score. Unfortunate for Valters, maybe some pressure inside his head, and he just throws a bit high and lands OB very short to the basket.
Yeah, and that's interesting. We can see the different discs that are players throwing. So Lauri and Valters throwing mid-ranges, and all of the others. Maybe Intars also.
Looked like Renārs also was going with the mid-range, I think.
Oh.
So Valters trying to save a par from here. Unfortunate. Yeah. Let's see what Intars does. No, hits the cage. Good try. A bit tricky putt for Kaido. Yes, an OB on the backside, but yeah, he makes it. Outside circle putt, bringing back his confidence.
There were few putts outside the circle what Kaido made, so maybe he doesn't need to be inside the circle. Maybe it's easier for him to get an outside putt, and Renārs having one more birdie. So he has 5 birdies in last 9 baskets, so it's a really good shot. In last 8 baskets, so it's a really good score for him.
Valters has to settle with the bogey. Yeah, and he does loses his grip on the 3rd place, and actually on the last hole, even Intars is quite close to Valters to maybe even challenge the top 3 spot. So the hole number 19, a very special hole for Rezidence Kurzeme. The most difficult hole. Everybody is trying to cross over the water. And this hole is 110 meters long, par 3. Plays 3.7 on average. So we'll see. Definitely all the players are going to try to get on this island. Not the easiest island to make, but the best will get it. So let's see. Okay, so
Renārs starting. So it seems like a really nice shot. And yeah, it's on the island, and there's a possibility for him to get birdie. So let's see what Lauri will do. He has a 3-stroke lead. So
Lauri throws his drive pretty slow, but unfortunate for him, doesn't make it over the water. And he has an OB and has to go from the drop zone. So things are getting interesting here.
Wow, and that's a really big anhyzer for the Kaido. And it lands safe. And right now Intars need to push.
And that's what he does. A nice flip-up drive with a fade. And, I think he catches the small tree on the island. But he's on the island. He's safe.
Yeah, and right now, let's see what Valters will do. It's the same line almost as Intars, but even more wider.
Unfortunate for Valters, yeah, throwing away hopes for the third place here, as Renārs already landed on the island. As you can see, the atmosphere of that end is quite positive. People enjoying the sun and the music. Lauri having his approach.
Yeah, and that was a really important approach from him to limit the possibility for Renārs even making the birdie.
So Valters does his approach, yeah, but he's already, you can see, throwing away his hopes. Just wants to end the hole happily, and that's it.
Yeah, and with Intars making it, he would be able to get even, I think, with Valters, but he didn't do it. And also Renārs not able to capitalize the birdie. And Valters finishes with the bogey, finishes with -7.
In 3 rounds, yeah. Unfortunate for Intars. Running out of battery here. Probably lost his hope for the third place and takes the bogey. -1 for the round and -5 in total.
And then Kaido finishing with the par also in this basket and with his -4 in total. And here we can see the winner of the tournament, Lauri Luts.
Oh, what an unfortunate putt! If Renārs would have made the shot, he would have been tied for the lead. But unfortunate, that's how disc golf goes. Even with a double bogey on the last hole, you can win the round. So congratulations to Lauri Luts. -3 on the round, -13 through the whole tournament.
And here we can see the awarding ceremony. In the third place, Valters Čuhnovs with -7 at the end. In the second place, Renārs Strazdiņš, only 1 stroke from the leader. And the first and the winner of the 2024 MPO division of the Latitude 64 or the Pro division, Lauri Luts, with the -13 in all 3 rounds.
Renārs Strazdiņš and Lauri Luts. Congratulations, big guys.
All right, congratulations to everyone. Thanks for watching this broadcast from the final round coverage of Latitude 64 Disc Golf Festival 2024. And thanks again to the sponsors, and hope to see you next year. We are adding additional course, Tukuma Disc Golf Parks as additional course, and now we're gonna be playing 4 courses, and we'll see how it goes. It was a pleasure from me, Elviss Brauns.
And me, Mārtiņš Bērtulis, to be with you today.
Thank you, and see you next year.
See you next year.